Let's talk about FOMO for introverts. Are you introverted and do you experience FOMO or fear of missing out? Hi, I'm Annie. I'm feeling about 8% miserable today. I woke up with a hangover. Self-inflicted misery. You know, unpleasant, not healthy. Friends, don't drink. A lot of people have a fear of missing out. You hear a lot of people talking about this in our modern age. When they see other people on social media doing fun things and having an amazing life, they feel like they're somehow missing out. If you see pictures of people having a fabulous time at a party and you weren't invited or you couldn't make it, you're at home, you might feel this sort of longing. You're missing out on that fun that everyone else is having. So I want to know, are you an introvert? And do you experiencing fear of missing out? And what is your experience like? What are the nuances of that experience for you? Because I have kind of a different experience with FOMO. I don't really have it. It's just not something that I experience. I experience something that, for the purposes of this video, I will call FOMO, but it's sort of like an inverse shadow reflection FOMO that I'm experiencing. Because when I'm out in social situations, I actually have a fear and an anxiety that I'm missing out on being at home alone and working on creative projects. Does anyone else experience this? Introverts come in many varieties. Some introverts are extremely shy, some are really socially awkward, some can be painfully self-conscious in social situations, and some have no social anxiety at all, they just prefer to be alone. That's the category that I fall into. I'm introverted, but I'm not shy. I'm actually really open and self-revealing. I maybe had some social anxiety when I was younger, but I don't anymore because I'm just used to being weird. I don't have particularly smooth social interactions with people. I am kind of socially awkward, but I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I've just been that way my whole life. So when I'm in social situations, I know that I'm not the smoothest. I'm not the most charismatic, but I just do my best to be present, which is not easy for me to stay in the present moment. But in a social situation, that's what I try to do. I just try to be centered and open and present. And that's draining. I can't maintain that for very long. But that's what I do because I think that is the appropriate thing to do in that situation, is to actually try to be present with the people you're spending time with. I don't socialize much at all, and I don't want to. I don't feel like there's anything missing. And I do have some self-doubt about that. I wonder if that's okay. Why is it not important to me? I don't know. It just isn't. It feels like that's how I'm wired. So I do have some socializing in my life that is very fulfilling to me, but to an outside observer, it might look like I'm not social at all. The things that fulfill my need for socializing are simply having a partner, hanging out with my family, which includes my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, nephew, my mom's boyfriend, and his son. So a small family. And then I also am a massage therapist and I have clients, some of whom I've known for 12 years, been seeing them for a long time, and other clients come and go. So within a week, I get a little bit of socializing. Some clients are talkative, some are not talkative at all, but I still feel fulfilled by those interactions. And it's not a lot. And I don't socialize outside of that. I don't have a best friend. I don't get together with anyone to have coffee. And I feel really fulfilled by these basic social interactions, which I think for a lot of people would not be enough. So I think if I was single, it's hard to fathom because I've been with my partner for about 11 years now. But I remember before I met him when I was in my 20s, there was more of a motivation to go out and socialize. And I think maybe that was just, a drive to partner with someone, to find partnership. And I'm not sure now at age 42, if I for some reason wasn't with my partner anymore, how would I react? Would I go out and socialize more? Would it be important to me to find a new partner? I don't even know. So I'm such a lone wolf and so set in my ways, I'm not sure. I just can't tell. I don't know. I feel so fulfilled with just the few relationships that I have, and also with the relationship that I have with myself. There's a lot going on there. I find it interesting. And my partner is also introverted. And it's interesting because even within our relationship, we give each other a lot of space. So we connect throughout the day. We're both self-employed. We connect throughout the day. We hug each other. We're affectionate. We catch each other up on the happenings of the day, what we're thinking about. But for good portions of the day, we leave each other alone, because the main thing that he and I have in common is that we like to go to our separate corners and work quietly alone on creative projects. So we're both really independent people, but of course, since we've been together for 11 years, there is some interdependence, He does things for me, I do things for him. He's really good at certain things in life, and I'm good at other things. And so we kind of work together to make life work. So there's definitely some interdependence and neediness. I think that's just naturally going to happen in any relationship, but I think we would both do okay if we found ourselves single again, at least emotionally. On a practical level, I think it would be very difficult to be single at this point because of the division of labor. He just does certain things in life. He cooks dinner, for example. I don't think I want to do that. I'm okay with doing the dishes though. But socializing or allowing time within my calendar for socializing just does not even occur to me. So what my week looks like is appointments, going to work to give massages, but the whole rest of the time, that time is all used for exercising, doing chores, and creative projects. And all that time is filled up. There's no even thought of making space for potential socializing. It doesn't occur to me. And so on the rare occasion when a social event comes up that I feel obligated to go to, or maybe I kind of want to go to, or maybe I feel like I should go to, because I'm so introverted, I do sometimes feel that I need to exercise my opposite tendency and go out and socialize just because it's the right thing to do. It's the healthy thing to do. So sometimes I do it. And I do it more around Christmas. There's Christmas parties, and maybe in the summer there's a barbecue or a baby shower. These kinds of things come up where you either feel obligated or it's just appealing enough that you want to go. But there's been no allotment of time within my mind or within my actual calendar to accommodate these things. And so that time and energy has to be withdrawn from something else. So going to a social event means that I lose out on creative time for that day. Or maybe I lose out on time to get my chores done. And so there was kind of this trade-off, like, okay, we're going to do this social thing that's out of the ordinary that we don't usually do. And so now there's not time to do the dishes. So when I find myself in social situations, there's a few things going on. It is draining for me. I can do it, but I just know that it's going to be a little bit draining, and I'm going to want to come home and just be by myself. And maybe I'm not going to want to stay there for very long. I do really enjoy observing people in social situations. I like just sort of being invisible and watching the room and watching people interact. And occasionally when I'm at a social situation, it can be a letdown. This happened a lot more when I was younger because I had an expectation that I would like to connect with people more on a one-on-one level. I think I don't have as much of a longing for that anymore because it has just died inside of me. I've been to so many social gatherings and have not connected one-on-one with people that I've given up on it. So I don't expect it anymore. So it's not a letdown because I'm not really expecting it. Because when I'm in a social situation, it's not super conducive to one-on-one connecting. I picture in my fantasy meeting someone really interesting and going off into a corner and having a deep conversation with one person, one-on-one. But that isn't really how parties work. There's just so many people. And I have a hard time connecting with a group. And I think that other people feel really comfortable with that. I think when you're off in a corner speaking with someone one-on-one, you can really explore and dive a little bit deeper because you're just dealing with two people. But when you have a whole bunch of people connecting at a party, the conversation is just necessarily going to be more surface, more superficial, because you have like a whole bunch of voices chiming in. And that's not a judgment. That's not to say that people who hang out in groups are shallow. It's just saying that as an introvert and a curious, cerebral, really introspective person, I have a real longing to connect with people in a deep way. And the thing about parties is that is not the best place to do that. There are exceptions, you might. meet somebody at a party and go off and, you know, sit in the backyard and have a meaningful conversation. But if you go to a party expecting that to happen, you might be let down. And I think that's what happened to me a lot in my teens and 20s, is that I was really envisioning that when I would go out to socialize. I was craving that one-on-one connection and then disappointed every time it wasn't happening, because that's not what the party was about. It was fun and play and drinking and, you know, all these things, which are perfectly fine, but just not as important to me. So what happens to me when I go out and socialize now, a lot of times I feel something that I call Fomo, but it is fear of missing out on being at home working on creative projects. So I'm at a party and I'm thinking, man, how long am I gonna, you know, if I get home, is there maybe some time to do a little bit of work in my art studio before I go to bed? I'm very aware that when I spend time with other people socially, I am giving up time that I could be spending on creative projects. And I think maybe that's kind of weird. I think that's possibly outside of the norm, that maybe I'm in the minority in feeling that way. But that is honestly the way that I feel when I hear people talk about FOMO, with, you know, seeing parties on social media and feeling left out or regretful that they didn't go to that, or feeling torn because there's 3 parties on one night and they can't go to all of them. They just have to pick one, and maybe this one is better than that one. I would rather just skip all the parties and stay home. And that's just me. So I'm wondering, can anyone relate to this? Am I totally alone in this? Let me know what you think about FOMO. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. Let's get to know each other.